Now, welcome back to another episode of Wrestling is Trash, the nonsensical podcast where we talk everything professional wrestling, past, present, and quite possibly the future. Welcome back.
Yeah.
Got an early
Welcome
one.
back, everyone. Trash Boy Nick coming to you live on another Trash Tuesday to talk all the wrestling. We had a crazy weekend of wrestling, a little entertainment last night on wrestling. We go down rabbit holes about wrestling. We're going to talk everything today.
What a weekend, bro.
What a weekend. Pop-ups everywhere, the contracts being ripped up, shirts being ripped off with a new company shirt on it. We got everything. No, but happy to be back with everyone. Love recording the show for you guys. Shit, even just for us. If literally there was 0 views every week and it was just us two, I think I'd still have a blast doing this, to be honest.
Don't care. That's one thing you guys got to understand. Whoever's out there actually watching this, we appreciate it. We love it. But, like, this isn't a let's blow up podcast. Let's try to be as edgy as possible. This isn't JD from New York. We're not doing any of that bullshit. We're just here because we actually like it. Yeah. I don't fucking care. Can you imagine having to come on this show I don't know how often that guy records, but every day or every week, and having to sit here and scream into your microphone because of fucking wrestling? Nah, bro, I can't do it.
Never. You're supposed to enjoy wrestling. That's what we promote on this show, is enjoying
That's
wrestling.
actually what we say at the end of every show. By the way, Lou from the BX, host of the Everything Podcast, co-host of Wrestling. No, that was on me. I just started talking shit. Before we jump into the whole thing, we introduce ourselves as Lou from the BX, and everything is everything. Everything is great. We had a fantastic weekend of wrestling, another great week of crazy shit going on. So we're just gonna go ahead and jump right in, man. That's what we're gonna do.
Yeah. Man, this weekend, we live in a world where it's like you want to be productive and do things like, I don't know, whether it's exercise or just be outside or out of the house, even if it's going. Man, I felt this weekend I was just nothing but a bum between wrestling and football, which I'm cool with.
Oh, yeah.
Cool with that. But, I just felt at all times, whether you were watching the football game or wrestling or even opening social media, something in the sports world was going on. The first news article we had, I put it in the front just because I felt, I thought it was going to be talked about a lot more than it actually did. And maybe it's because there was a lot of wrestling on this weekend. But Jack Perry showed up at the New Japan show, ripped up his AEW contract, and put on an armband that said scapegoat. Now, of course, I'm one who's always going to believe something. So I texted Lou about it. He said it's a work. I'm on the side now that it's a work, but
I'm assuming it's a work. But
yeah,
I was a little disappointed. I was a little disappointed at your excitement of it actually being a real thing. I was a little disappointed. I'm like, come on, bro. You really think that this dude went to fucking a New Japan show with a contract and he ripped that shit up for real? Like, this ain't 1986, bro. That shit don't happen no more, bro. All that shit.
It is. That's awesome. But yeah, like I said, I don't know if it's just because of all the wrestling that was going on this weekend, and I'm gonna keep saying it. Playoff football is on this weekend, so maybe eyes and mouths just weren't all there on it. But we haven't seen him. You know what I mean? Like, we saw CM Punk again before we saw him.
Right.
Rep CM Punk Day.
I was actually gonna wear my CM Punk shirt. I couldn't find it.
But I think it's cool. I think he came back definitely looking like a heel more this time than he was when, before his hiatus from AEW. That facial hair, just the attire, makes him look older, makes him look more like a heel. Because a lot of people were speculating before that he maybe would have been the devil. There were some talks of that.
Right.
But I liked it. I think it's cool how he showed up somewhere else before AEW. Obviously, with the whole contract ripped up. But, it made sense that he showed up somewhere else, too. So, I'm really intrigued to see where it goes. But what was your initial thoughts, when you saw this?
Yeah, it was a really shocking. It was shocking because, I wasn't thinking about Jack Perry. He's been out of sight, out of mind. I haven't been wondering when's he gonna come up? When are we gonna see Jungle Boy again? Or I really haven't been thinking about dude. And it was really cool to see him like kind of dressed like a drifter or a grifter or whatever, just kind of like a rough looking dude with the scraggly beard. And he actually looked like, he went out there and he threw the beat down, and he actually looked like a threat. Like, you know what I mean? Because when he came back, after the Christian thing, when he came back as that heel and he was doing that heel thing and he was fighting Hook and that kind of thing, like it didn't work for me at all. Like his heel Jack Perry thing, it was like almost like what I wanted. I kind of wanted him to go to like remember like Hollywood Rock type character.
I remember we talked about this in here.
Yeah, like I thought he should have been a little more something like that. So to see him take this route and kind of play up the whole thing with CM Punk. And so did you hear that when there's a part in the video where he's like on his knee and he looks at the camera and he says something, but you can't hear what he's saying. And some people were trying to figure out what it was he said. So some lip reader, I'm just saying, some lip reader said that what he says is, are you too busy on Twitter to pick up the phone and make a phone call? Is what he said.
Oh, okay.
That's so cool. I guess kind of taking shots at Tony Khan. And then ripping up the contract and everything. So it's interesting. It brings interest to this guy because that's one thing you can definitely say that has not been there really is like interest for Jack Perry. So I thought it was dope.
No, and to add on it, a couple of things. First off, the whole him and Hook thing. Hook's obviously been a face since day one, right? But this isn't a shot at either one of them. I'm not a big friggin' 200 and something pound like Jack dude either. But even then, when he was supposed to be playing as this heel or whatever, Hook still looked more like as the intimidating factor compared to each other. Now it looks a lot different. And then what I wanted to ask is going into this, like, because we haven't heard Jack Perry at all. And we're both people who watch the media. I don't even remember people even asking questions about him at the media scrums, like in the future, like, hey, what's going on with Jack Perry?
Yeah, because we had yet another debut on that. Or it's not on that show. No, the debut was, I'm talking about Nick Nemeth at Wrestle Kingdom. I got wires crossed there. But definitely, there wasn't, I don't remember there being a lot of talk on that San Jose show afterwards about Jack. So
but even at the AEW shows, like at Full Gear, I don't think anything was mentioned at the media scrum about him, World's End. So you think he comes out, when he does show up, he does something kind of like, remember when MJF was written off TV calling Tony a fucking mark? And like, do you think it's going to come back to, like, in a way, his first, not opponent necessarily, but I guess encounter, rival is Tony Khan?
It could be cool if they do like I hate to even say this because it's so played out, but like an NWO type of situation where like he just shows up and he jumps in through the crowd and he starts disrupting shit and kind of like becomes kind of like a nuisance out there in the crowd, getting involved in matches, getting chased out by security type shit. Like it'd be cool if they kind of did something like that. I mean, it's been done before, but
it works.
Unless there's some kind of new wrinkle or something that they want to put on this sauce for this kind of angle, I think it'd be cool, but I don't think they need to rush it either. They got plenty of shit going on in AEW, bro. He could go to New Japan and he can have some matches there. They got so many fucking titles. He could pick up a title over there, kind of get some more work under his feet. You know what I'm saying? Get himself out there more, get the videos going and shit. And then, then he can come up with the title and, you know what I mean?
That's something Tony should
Forbidden Door. Imagine Forbidden Door. They do Hook versus Jack Perry for the Forbidden Door because Jack Perry is in New Japan now.
Yeah, that would, because they have to keep this in the back pocket because this can have a major payoff, right? And it's like Revolution's coming up. That show's 100% centered around Sting. 100%. Obviously, it's his last match. And then these reports of every week, it sounds like Mercedes is showing up. Who knows when she shows up, but if she shows up, but you still have that story kind of going. So you have things going. You don't have to, like you say, you don't have to rush Jack Perry, which I don't think you should. But I guess, sorry to sidetrack quick, we hop back, but just because it's on my mind, I don't even think we really talked about it too much. What are your thoughts on if it is the Young Bucks against Sting and Darby?
I think it is.
So it wasn't announced. I just know it was face to face.
I think pretty much. I mean, I think pretty much that. The way they played the angle out, I think it pretty much spelled it out. That's what it's gonna be. And then there was a bunch of reports that that's what Sting actually requested. Like he said, yes, that would be great. That's what I want to do. Like he actually picked them.
What's your thoughts on the matchup?
That's fine. Yeah. That's whatever Sting wants to do, bro. I don't know. The thing is that what else is Sting gonna do? Was he gonna wrestle fucking Ric Flair, or what are you gonna get?
To me, I thought it was gonna eventually be him and Darby. Not even as a heel face thing. I just thought eventually that was gonna be the match. Just one-on-one.
Yeah. The thing is with Sting, I don't think that I don't want to say can, because I'm sure he can, but I don't think he's comfortable wrestling solo matches because he's never done one. He hasn't done one yet in AEW. Everything's been tag, because I don't think he feels, especially safe doing a singles match.
Yeah. Now, I'm not saying this is what Sting did either, because I doubt Sting's a busy man. But did you watch The Undertaker's documentary, The Last Ride?
It's funny. You know what I was just about to say? I was going to say, what would be wild if Tony Khan signed The Undertaker and they have the fucking the match that everyone's wanted in AEW instead of WWF. Yeah.
So
I've never actually watched it. I never watched it.
So in it, I'll try to sum this up as quick as possible, because it's when it starts off that Mania weekend when he fights Roman, and he thought going into that match that was going to be it. That's why he allowed the cameras. So this was only supposed to be like a 1-part thing.
Yeah.
Well, obviously he didn't like the match, so he came back. He did the thing with Cena. He was disappointed because if you remember, he squashed Cena. He thought he was getting like an actual match against Cena. But ultimately...
that's when Cena was in the crowd or whatever?
Yeah, that one, yeah. So Goldberg. Wow. Taker thought he was getting like a match, and obviously ends up being a squash, which, whatever. Then he had a couple of matches, but then he had the whole thing with Goldberg. We remember that shit show where Goldberg was concussed, almost paralyzed Undertaker. Right. And Undertaker kept saying, like, I can't go out like that. And then if you remember, him and Roman teamed up together against Shane and Drew in that tag match, and it was really good.
Yeah.
And that was actually his last match in person. And he said, like, after the tag match, that was actually going to be it. Like, that was it. And then AJ Styles called him for WrestleMania.
Yeah, they did the...
And then...
Yeah, the cinematic match, it's...
Yeah.
I thought
it was a great send-off for him in the end.
Oh, I enjoyed the cinematic match. I have nothing against those matches.
So at all. I wonder if, I wonder if Sting kind of saw, because Sting, I imagine, just like The Undertaker, an alpha in this business, wrestling forever, wants his last one to be good, and maybe saw that kind of hint, was like, what if I really don't like my last singles match? With this match, it's going to be good. Like, the Young Bucks are a great tag team. Darby obviously can carry like he has been. So I think it's fine. A lot of people are kind of crapping on it, but it might not be ideal. But then you also don't want him having that feeling like Kurt Angle, when Kurt Angle was like, no offense to fucking Baron Corbin, but that was not.
That's one of the biggest fumbles. Like, why did Vince do that shit? Yeah. Like, he really wanted to try to get Baron Corbin over.
And the worst part was Kurt was very vocal. Even before that match, that he wanted it to be Cena. And Cena was already part-time, because that's the one Rob and I and Dan and my girl were at. And in the end, John Cena was still there. If you remember, he came out that Mania doing the Thugonomics thing. And it's like,
why not?
So the match was there.
Why not just do that match? Isn't that a bigger marquee, isn't that what you want? Marquee matches? That's a fucking marquee match. I'd pay to see that shit. Like, Kurt Angle's final match, he's having it with John Cena. Perfect send-off, why not? I'll never understand that Baron Corbin thing.
Even casuals, it's kind of like, all right, well, John Cena's fighting. Oh shit, he's fighting Kurt Angle. Like, a lot of people from the Attitude Era fans especially know who Kurt Angle is, between the milk truck and all that. But I guess I digress there. But I'm cool with it. And I don't know because it pops up on Twitter, that show is pretty much sold out. I think they sold 13,000 tickets. They go I
think they got 100 something tickets left.
That's so dope for Sting. That's so dope. So dope. Another thing, in my opinion, that was dope, I guess, speaking of that word, we had a debut at TNA. Nick Nemeth, formerly known as Dolph Ziggler, showed up. Classic. And this kind of alludes to what you asked me before. I don't know if we talked about this on air, but you know he's going to be damn near the face of that company there.
Oh, yeah.
TNA does have a history of when the ex-big WWE guy comes in, they make them champ, which I get. It business-wise, it makes sense. So he's going to be, but it's like he's the mid-carder in WWE to the head guy in TNA. Like you said, which one would you rather be, you know? And he's probably making good money. And he's going to be doing New Japan. And now he's fighting Matt Cardona at GCW. So I'm going to have to see what he's about to do, Ali's about to do. But what did you think? I felt this debut was going to be pretty obvious at this pay-per-view. But I'm happy it happened still. I don't care about predictability. Like I thought this was very predictable, but I liked it.
Yeah, my only thing is you have him debut. And unfortunately, he's standing there next to Moose. Moose is like a fucking goddamn 9 foot tall, big mountain of a boulder of a human being. And it's like he was carved out of like granite or something. He's got like 19 abs. And then you got Nick Nemeth there with his kind of like, I know he's in great shape or whatever. He's definitely in much better shape than I am, but he had the arms ripped off of the shirt. And he's standing there. And then I was like, dude, it's not exactly the best look for you because Moose looks like a champion. I love Moose. Yeah. Like Moose has gone through a whole array of different personalities and all kinds of things, but at the end of the day, bro, Moose's entrance when I went to those Impact shows and it's just like so dark and he's got the cloak and the hood and it's just Moose. That shit is hard, bro. But I like him a lot. So just seeing him there with Moose was a little kind of jarring. But, bro, Nick Nemeth is a tremendous worker, bro. He's gonna have crazy matches over there with Speedball, with Josh Alexander, with Trey Miguel. Like he's gonna have bangers all day, dude. So that belt eventually will end up on him too. So
which is deserving.
It's great for him. It's great for him, dude.
He's gone.
And honestly, I don't even think he's really hurting for money because I think he's one of those dudes who like didn't really spend much. Like he does stand-up comedy and shit on when he's not working, and he doesn't seem like the type of dude that's out there like just blowing money. So all the money he's made, he's pretty much got. You know,
and I don't know if you remember, he was making like a lot in WWE too, like because he's been there for so long and everything. So, you know, I hate saying this in like because they've always for a while they made him the guy that Vince would do, especially like when Kofi won the title, when Drew won the title. Like, all right, your first feud's going to be with Dolph. It should have been me, that thing. But even then, he was always delivering. You know, he obviously was saving his money. I think he's talked about that part before. Like he's like, I don't need to do this.
Right.
I thought it was really cool. That show was good. You know, I only got to catch because I was watching a lot of football this weekend, so I only got so much.
Dude, this weekend was ridiculous, bro. Yeah. We had wild card football games. We had a TNA Hard to Kill pay-per-view. We had Collision. We had the New Japan show at 10.
Battle of the Belts.
I had a Nick game in the afternoon. Like I was like, bro, I can't there's how many screens could I possibly have running at one time? And am I even watching any of this if I'm doing that? It's crazy. And Battle of the Belts, bro.
Yep. That's why I love at the end of the month, WWE's smart about it, finally. Because they used to do it the Sunday in between the championship games and the Super Bowl. But now they do the Rumble the day before the championship games. Yeah. That was cool. Saturday you watch Rumble. Next day you watch who's going to the Super Bowl.
Hey, let me ask you something. Do you feel like Tony Khan is kind of a little bit of a hypocrite when it comes to these so Battle of the Belts, that shit just came out of nowhere. All of a sudden last week, they were like, yeah, next week we're having Battle of the Belts. I was like, okay. But Impact / TNA is working real hard to change their brand. This is their first pay-per-view back to the TNA name. It's a big show for them. They're hyping it up with all these debuts and, you know, they're going to Vegas. Do you feel like this dude, he kind of steps on them and shit a little bit? Because I kind of feel like he does. Because I don't know what relationship they had before when Kenny was going back and forth over there with the titles, and I don't know what happened there. I don't know if there's still some type of relationship. I don't think there is.
I don't think so. You haven't seen TNA on AEW in a minute.
Nobody crosses over anymore. Like, people leave to go to TNA, like Frankie Kazarian. So I don't think there is a relationship there, but it's just kind of like, bro, to me, it's like, if you're always bitching about like WWE doing shit to like hurt your product, and then at the end of the day, you're like doing the same shit because.
Well, look, his company had moved to WWE's night because of baseball, right? It was for obvious reason, baseball. My man had a kickoff show and all this wild shit, and it's like, you know, and you started all these tweets about that, going down the tweet path again, and then it's like, yeah, I guess I never thought about it, but you're right. You can't sit here and say you're wrong.
Yeah, because if you're always talking about, you know, the territories and how we're wrestling and there needs to be more options or whatever, and you're kind of like shitting on TNA by throwing. You didn't need to have Battle of the Belts on this weekend, bro. You could have done it next weekend. You could have done it the next weekend, bro. Like,
or to be honest, fight up. You could have done it against the Rumble.
Yeah. Put up against a Rumble, add it to Rampage and make Rampage 2 hours or something. I don't know, but
yeah,
it just kind of seems weird to me that he's like so
pro
like wrestling, but not Impact.
Yeah, Battle of the Belts. That's something like he does. Like he plans that because it's at a different venue. You know what I mean? It's just
an added on hour. That's all it is. It's just another hour to the show.
Yeah. So
which, by the way, Battle of the Belts, which by the way was kind of fucking awesome. Honestly,
I only saw the Sammy thing. Like
that shit was kind of awesome. That fucking street fight was awesome.
I gotta watch it. I only saw the Sammy thing on Twitter.
Yeah.
I never thought about it like that. I guess it kind of is. Well, I guess speaking of Tony, where he kind of went with it.
Do better, Tony. Do better.
Address your enemies, Tony.
I was trying to get there.
I knew you were gonna. I heard it.
Hate button.
Hey, Tony, if you got beef with TNA, let it be known. All right, just let it be known. But you know, a lot of people were crapping on it. The result didn't happen what you and I thought was going to happen. But do we give Tony credit for making Jinder Mahal the most talked about guy so far in 2024?
Yeah, it's weird. You kind of have to, because if you would think if Tony would have never made that tweet, I mean, the championship match was happening anyway. Like, it was going to happen. It was already scheduled to happen.
It's clear as day. WWE does that. It's very, very known that when you're in those spots, if you do well, like, they reward you with something. It's been known.
Yeah.
Like, it's been very, very well known. Like, if you do good with the select, kind of like Damian Priest, like, you do good with the celebrity, things like that. Like, not that because he did good with Bad Bunny. Like, he worked his ass up. Look, Money in the Bank. Like, WWE's known for doing that. The only thing I didn't care about it, to be honest, before I let you go, is like, this is where I don't get into the records and all that and dig like some people do. But like, yo, Tony B doing some random ass title matches too, though. Like,
I would say yeah, but and this is not being trying to like be like a AEW homer, but they definitely more so. Okay, I want to make sure I say this right. I feel like AEW definitely more so sets up their title matches based on like winning records and stuff like that, because they don't do the record thing anymore. Apparently, they still kind of show the records every once in a while, like on the screen, but they don't really do it like they used to. Like before, it was like a big deal. Like that record thing was like,
yeah, they used to have the standings and all.
They would always have the standings and talk about all that shit. Because like, let's see. Eddie is giving these matches out to people, but he's not just giving them out. Like, people are winning on ROH, they're winning on Rampage. So if you're not watching everything, you could probably like, oh, these people are just getting title matches and like out of nowhere. But WWE, people get title matches. Goldberg comes back after being gone for like 8 months, and he's like, bitch, I'm Goldberg, I want a title match. Okay, we'll have it at Elimination Chamber. Like,
yeah, that's just wrestling. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
it is what it is, dude.
Yeah. The only thing I honestly didn't like, you didn't have to throw shade at Jinder like that.
Yeah, that's true. Tony
like,
just throws shots and he doesn't care. Like he just throws these strays out there.
I definitely, because fans were talking shit about the Hook and Joe thing. Like they were. It was very obvious, and it's like, okay, address the fans. Like, you made it sound like Jinder's is a loser.
I mean, to me, Hook is shooting his shot, bro. The guy's like 42-3.
Yeah.
The fuck? If that doesn't qualify for a title shot, then what qualifies for a title shot? You know what I'm saying?
In a way, that's what I like this because I'll be real. Since Jinder returned, like on his own after he got released, came back jacked out of his mind in 2016, and then I've always liked Jinder, to be honest. Like because like we said before, he has that dope entrance.
We've talked about this many times on here, bro. That entrance.
Yeah, I liked his reign. He, like I said, he's believable. Like he's believable. But hey, man, why'd you gotta take a shot at Jinder, man?
Bro, anytime a brown dude is a champion anywhere, I'm with it. Like I'm willing to give it a shot, just because when I was younger, you didn't see a lot of that shit.
And here's the crazy thing. I think if this Tony bullshit never happened, that WWE wouldn't have made that match more believable. Because I ain't gonna lie, when Jinder hit that Colossus last night, I was like, they're doing it. Even if it's for 30 seconds, this man's gonna be world heavyweight champion.
And this whole fake out that they keep doing with like the planting little things on Twitter, that's it, bro. I'm done with that shit. Because they keep putting these little things like, there's extra confetti and fireworks tonight. Something's happening. And I'm like, huh? What the fuck? Like, so you're thinking, okay, cool. They're going to do the cash in. And it makes sense to do the cash in and get rid of that fucking briefcase finally and get that thing out of the way so you can kind of continue your heavyweight storyline. It makes sense. And then they don't do it. And you're like,
because
what the fuck?
Because we know if Punk wins that title between April and July when Priest has to cash in, he's not cashing in on Punk. Not saying Punk's going to go on this ungodly long title run, but it's not just going to be 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
And so it's like, you have to do it now. And it's like I said, like, I get it. Would I like a longer run at a Priest? Absolutely. Right. Absolutely. But man, if he would have won last night and dropped it at Chamber, I'm cool with it. He had a month and a half title reign on the road to WrestleMania at that. I had a big show in Australia. He's the champion. It's like, I'm cool with that. Like, even
the only thing that would have sucked is like, it would have sucked for Jinder to like win and then lose like that. Like that would have been fucked up.
Yeah.
Like that would have sucked for him, bro. Because you win and then I don't know, bro. That would break my fucking heart. Like if they did that shit to me, I'd be like, damn, dog.
Like I'm not gonna lie.
Who just did that? Somebody just did that like recently.
So you might be thinking of if we're talking WWE. Do you remember when at Elimination Chamber in 21, Bobby beat the shit out of Drew and Miz won the title because he won the money and then he had it for 8 days and I was amped because it was like, all right, you're transitioning to make Bobby champion, which I was so excited for. But it's like, man, Miz worked his ass off. You gave him an 8-day reign.
Yeah. Didn't somebody I just feel like I watched something where somebody won the title.
Oh, Bianca Belair. She won the title at SummerSlam in EO.
No, like it just happened, like in a month, like last month.
Christian and Edge.
Oh yeah, there you go. Duh. Yeah. I'm like trying to figure out, like, wait, I just saw that happen.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. So
there you go.
Yeah. So it sucks, man. I hate saying it, but I really don't see Priest getting into this unless it happens like at the Rumble, which would be kind of, if it doesn't happen by the Rumble, like the Rumble trademark shows and Priest isn't champion, unsuccessful title reign, unsuccessful catch.
And there's a thing too. I heard that I haven't heard anything recently because I saw it this morning, but it seems like Seth Rollins might be injured. He might have gotten an injury last night. Might have a leg.
Yeah, and that Boozer dude tweeted saying like he's good.
Oh, okay. All right, that's what I was saying. I haven't seen anything. I hadn't seen anything, but I wasn't looking either.
Let me see. I just think and this is that thing. Let me see. Yeah, he tweeted he is okay.
Oh, okay, cool. That's good.
But
I think you hate to see somebody have to like.
Well, especially Seth. Remember, he came back from injury, and then he had that little scuffle with Joe, and then almost didn't fight Triple H. So it's like, if that was your sign, Rollins ain't defending that title unless it's Rumble or Chamber before Mania. because you can't risk that because that's a major storyline right there with the two of them.
Hell yeah.
Major storyline. What I wanted to ask is, so Roman Reigns apparently not being reported for Elimination Chamber, which I find odd because he's always at the overseas shows. I can't think of an overseas shows he wasn't at, especially one this big. So do you think this is once again like Meltzer just not maybe knowing? Which here's the thing, that dude gets shit. Him, Sean Ross, when they get something wrong, like CM Punk debuting, they get shit on. So do you think this could be him, just WWE trying to keep this very close secret? Or do you really think he might not be at this one?
I mean, I don't know why they would, at this point, why are you keeping Roman Reigns being on the card a secret? If he's going to be on the card, you'd be like, yo, he's going to be on the card wrestling XYZ or whatever. Like, you want to make sure people know that shit to buy your show.
Yeah, because Punk got announced for it.
Yeah, the fact that they're not saying that he's not there or whatever, it's kind of seems like that's the case. Like, he's not going to be there. So
yeah, I don't know how contracts work, but we all know they got a lot of money. Like, how, even if it's not against The Rock, right, at Chamber, like, how are you not like, hey, bro, like, you're going to Australia, man. Like, you were the face of the company.
No
50,000 people are going to be there. I don't care if it's Solo and Jimmy in a match and you're ringside. Like, you're going. Like, you're going.
Unless they're planning on doing something really big with the world title, I would think maybe, I don't know. Maybe they're going to cash it in there, or they're going to do something really big there with that belt. I don't know, bro, because you don't really need to have both belts on the show unless it's like Mania, because you want to have all your belts on Mania.
Even then, they're separate nights.
You know? Yeah. So, I mean, you can have Elimination Chamber, and you don't have to have Roman on there. But, you know, considering where the story's kind of going, we all kind of thought he was going to be there, at least if not to at least start setting something up for, you know what I mean?
And that's what I'm saying, because at this
maybe
point,
him and Rock fight at Royal Rumble or something. I don't know.
Well, no, he's already got the match. They're doing the contract this week for the Fatal 4-Way.
At Rumble?
Yeah. Him, AJ, LA Knight, and Randy.
So and when is Chamber?
In February.
Oh, okay.
So it's like...
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense for him to be at Chamber if they're going to do that.
And the thing is, though, if you're going to set up Rock and Roman, like, I get what they did on Raw with The Rock. But, so is The Rock going to be showing up at the Rumble, and that sets up the match? Because, so do you think at this point it's at Mania?
That motherfucker is not going to be in the Royal Rumble. Ain't no way.
No. Like,
he could show up there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, Roman retains, and then Rock comes out.
He'll be blown up before he gets to the ring.
So, do you think it's happening at Mania then? At this point?
Man.
Or do you think it is Cody and Roman, and then that Rock and Roman's at like SummerSlam?
You know what's fucked up? You gotta think about it from like the aesthetics of like how big a match you want. Like, what's the bigger? Think about it from the perspective of like all the CEOs of like Endeavor and TKO and all that shit. Like, what's the bigger WrestleMania match? You think they give a fuck about Cody and finishing the story? You think they give a shit about that? They don't give a fuck about that shit. And yeah, they like Cody. I'm sure they love Cody. But you think they give a fuck about Cody finishing the story? Or do you think they give a fuck about Roman Reigns versus The Rock at WrestleMania?
Yeah. And I hate being that guy, but I agree with you, because it's like, dude, at the end of the day, these people are here to make money.
Yeah.
To make the company money. And it's like, now, do you think this is a topic of discussion I've seen, I guess, sticking on it? Cody's story. So do you believe Cody's story is beating Roman for the title, or just winning the title? And it's just so affiliated with Roman just because Roman's had it for so long.
Nah, that's the thing. Like, after all that, the fact that he went to WrestleMania and lost to Roman, he can't just go win a different one and be I finished my story. He's got to take it off of Roman.
So he has to be the guy to take it off of Roman.
He has to take it off of Roman.
Yeah.
In order to be this, the babyface thing doesn't work if he doesn't. Eventually, the good guy has to win at some point.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? The good guy the Superman has to do the Superman thing at some point in some part of the story. So, like,
yeah, and it's just, you gotta, because the storyline was just obvious of what to do. Like Rock comes out at Rumble after the match with Roman. They face off at Chamber. Cody wins Chamber. Roman goes into Mania, even hotter. Cody wins. But like you said, like the businessman, it's shitty. It's shitty.
I'm telling you, man. Like, the more we get closer to the things, it's just kind of like, damn, bro.
But we were saying this last year. But The Rock also wasn't on Raw saying he's sitting at the head of the table.
Yeah, but that was a fantasy. That was us kind of like going, oh, The Rock should show up and do this and that, and he hadn't shown up. Now he actually showed up. Yeah, and he actually acknowledged the storyline.
And I think too, because last year it was in LA, so you thought if it was gonna happen, it was gonna be in LA.
Right.
Yeah, because like I hate to be that guy. Whether it's you, I get it. Ideally, everyone would like it to be not for the title. Like I'm right there with you, but you can't say you don't want to not see Rock and Roman. It's not going to be your 5-star wrestling match, but like, come on, you can't say you don't want to see it. That's just my opinion. Like, how do you not want to not see that? That's like back in the day. Like you're telling me you didn't want to see Rock and Cena. Like back in the day, you know what I mean? Like that was the match then. This is the match now.
Yeah.
It's funny. The reason I just want Cody to win is just so we have a regular champion. Like if Roman was on TV every week, I really wouldn't give a shit that Cody's not fighting The Rock potentially at WrestleMania.
I think at this point we'd be so fucking sick of him. Like if he was on the show every week and he's had the belt all this time, bro, I think at this point it wouldn't work. I don't think it would work.
So do you think he's on TV enough or should be on it a little more?
I think he's perfectly fine what he's doing.
So you're not one of them that's like, no, I'm pissed.
Yeah, he should be there defending the belt every week. Against who? He's beating everybody, bro. He's
to be honest, I think
everybody. Who's on that roster yet that he hasn't beaten?
The only matchup, because now we're getting AJ and Randy. Yes, it's in the same match. But after this, the only matchup we didn't get that I want to see personally is him and Bobby. Like, we didn't get him and Bobby.
Okay, you could do that. You could do Bobby.
But if Roman wins at Mania, that means it's got to happen.
Yeah.
Because who else do you do?
yeah, literally, there's nobody. You have to start bringing up people from NXT. You have to bring up fucking Overfemi and then these people to fight Roman Reigns because there's nobody else.
Yeah, like realistic challenges for Roman at this point that are brand new. Because like I said, Randy and and AJ are happening now, or Bobby and Punk. That's it.
Like you can't even do Sammy. Like Sammy's so far in the fucking rearview mirror of that angle.
And they did it.
Yeah, he's like so far like removed from that shit in my mind that like that time has come and gone. Even if it was a chance that he was gonna be the one, like that time has come and gone, dude. You can't even do that shit. Jay, I don't buy Jay beating Roman Reigns for a fucking minute. Ain't no way. No, not a chance.
The only believable person realistically right now is Cody. Like to be honest, it's Cody.
Yeah.
And maybe if you built some steam up with Randy. Like maybe just because Randy's credentials.
Randy, like, I don't need Randy to have another. I really don't.
No, but
him to be the one to beat Roman Reigns would be whack as fuck, bro.
But but he's believable.
Yeah, no, he's a believable champion. Yeah, for sure.
Like you know what I mean? Like I hate like as much as I love LA Knight and as fire as he still is. Like I did not think he was beating Roman at Crown Jewel. Yeah. Like you know what I mean?
There was no chance. Like the only one that had me shook that I thought could have done it was Drew.
True.
When they had Clash at the Castle, like I was like, oh my fucking god, like this is perfect. This is perfect. You can do the title change. It'll be awesome for Drew. He'll get his redemption from having no fans. Perfect. And they beat him again.
Now I got something for you before we move on. So Roman having those 2 belts originally all came from that day 1 show in 2022. Because Brock was supposed to beat Roman for the then Universal title, but sadly Roman got COVID and he was gone. And then he beat Big E for the title, and then Vince had that wonderful idea.
Yeah.
Just makes you think, like, what would be the story in general in wrestling right now, like if that never happened. Because I think that year at Mania, it was supposed to be Big E and Seth for the other title, for the WWE title. It's like, would have Cody have finished his story last year against Because the thing is, the story was he has to be WWE champion, so he wouldn't even have gone after Roman. Well, I guess Roman would have lost too to Brock, but it's just crazy how sadly Roman getting COVID led to all of this.
Yeah,
because Roman was heavily reported by a lot of people that Brock was beating Roman that night for the title. Brand new way to start off 2022.
Wow,
would have been Universal Champion.
Yeah,
and Big E would have been champ at Mania.
Damn.
And that's where he got hurt, right? Is that where? No, Big E didn't get hurt at Mania.
No, right? He got hurt on a SmackDown, I think.
Yeah, I think it was a SmackDown, but around that time. Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
That's bugged out, bro.
Yeah,
I can't imagine where would the bloodline have even happened.
Because Sammy started right after that Mania with them, but he was champ. Like the whole thing is Roman was champ.
That's crazy, bro.
So like some goodness came out of it, but it's just the same time. It's like, all right, man, Roman, you gotta drop the strap. As much I'll admit, that belt's I'm kind of getting used to it now. I don't know how you feel on it. That belt.
Which one? Roman's belt?
Yeah, with the yellow.
I like that belt. I liked it when I first saw it.
Yeah.
I just thought I was expecting. The thing is that I was expecting a completely different design because we saw those leaks or whatever, and then we saw Seth's belt. So I was like, oh, okay, they're completely redesigning the belts. And then when you see the same W, it's like, man, what the fuck? But dog, that shit looks hard. Like that gold, that yellow, that shit's hard. So I like it.
What do you think of the new AEW belt design?
That shit is dope. I wanted to actually see it more of it because it kind of seems like Joe put side plates and shit on there. I don't remember
that. That's new. There's little circle side plates, which I like. Yeah. I like the side plate thing.
Yeah, shit's dope. They had like Samoa Joe side plates, and I was like, I wanted to actually like see the belt like laid out to kind of take a look at it. But I like how it has the little black diamond in the middle with that shit looks dope. Yeah, I like it.
Because I'm a fan. Like, promote your product, promote the AEW logo, like all that shit. Like, I think it looks nice. I liked the MJF belt. You know what I mean? But
I mean, I understood why, but I wasn't a big fan of Burberry fucking belt.
The only time I don't like it is when you lose. Like, see how like Joe's celebrating with that title? It's a little different. Yeah. Just like, remember going into Kofi Mania? I was like, nah, there's no way Kofi's celebrating with that plant belt. Like,
yeah, that's why it was cool when they had that belt right there on the side. Like, kind of obvious that we're doing a title change here if you have a belt sitting there on the fucking end of the ring. But
imagine if back then he didn't win. Like, imagine if he actually didn't win.
So crazy.
Because I remember me, Rob, and Dan earlier in the day, we were like, nah, like. And they did it in the end, but like, there's no way Seth beats Brock, Kofi beats Bryan, and Becky wins the belts. Like, there's no way you do all three. Like, there's no way. There's some heels got to win. So then when Seth won to start off the show, we're like, nah, like Kofi ain't winning, man. Kofi ain't winning because it's like that you're gonna have the dwindler in between, where friggin' Becky ends the night. And they did it. I'll give them props to them. They did it that year. All the faces, I think, won the title.
Yeah, it was a good year.
Yeah.
That was a good year for that.
Yeah, good year, buddy. And that was Vince, too, because we also thought, like, yo, there's no way Vince does this. Yeah, we got – because what's the next AEW show? Is it Revolution? Are they doing anything in between?
I think it's Revolution.
Yeah, I'd say because that's what, the first week of March?
Yeah.
I want to know who's Joe going to go up against. Who are you thinking?
So right now he's doing this thing with Hook. And I would assume that he's gonna probably. I think they're already kind of doing the swerve angle, but I think it's kind of like early for that shit. I feel like Joe should have a little bit of time with that belt. Like, I don't want Joe to immediately drop the fucking belt, even though I want to see Swerve as champion.
Yep.
But like again, you don't have to rush into that. Like, you don't.
Give me the pen. Joe loses at Double or Nothing, so May. So Joe had a 6-month title reign to Swerve, and you get Swerve and Ospreay in the main event at All In. That's what I do personally. Because you got
oh my god,
Ospreay, which is obvious, right? For like obvious reasons, he's from there. He's a legitimate contender, and then Swerve's your hottest person right now in that company, and Swerve's not cooling down. You know what I mean?
Wow. They're in a pinch, man. They're in a little bit of a pinch. I mean, I don't want to say luckily for them because I feel bad, but Luckily, Adam Cole is like injured because he's not in the title picture right now and also Kenny Omega, because then you'd have like it's just so many fucking people that need to be in the title picture, and like even the Wardlow thing. Like you look at Wardlow aesthetically, like who's beating Wardlow? Nobody. He should be the champion. He should have like 3 belts.
Dude, you know what's nuts? All In's going to be sick this year because if they actually sign Mercedes, right? Because we're in the world now with, like I said, it's no disrespect to the reporters, right? But until I see them on TV, they're going wherever they want to go. But
yeah.
Man, you have Mercedes on that show. Now you have Deonna Purrazzo on that in the company. Like
probably going to have Hater back by then.
Yeah, Hater's going to be back. Then you have Edge on this show now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's going to be big. I don't know how their ticket sales are doing. I don't think they're going to repeat what they did last year. I hope they do, right? I
feel like they'll get close.
Yeah, I think they'll
get pretty close to last year's.
They did what, 81? So I could easily see 70, 75,000, which is nuts. That's a huge.
I'm assuming they'll get pretty close to that number. But
it's obviously way too early now. You know, it's fucking.
I really need them to do a fucking. I need them to hurry up and pick a streaming service, bro. Because like all these shows, like there's a lot of shows that I'd really like to rewatch, and I can't because you'd have to literally buy them again to freaking watch them, and I don't want to use illegal means, but you're not really giving me a lot of choice. But I really would like to rewatch All In. I'd really like to rewatch Forbidden Door. Like I want to watch this shit. Yeah, at least put it on the Ring of Honor app or something, bro, because at least there they have the original All In, but I already watched that shit like 3 times.
Dude. Yeah, I think they'll get there. And that's a disadvantage, as I think we've said before, that AEW has, is like they're such a new company and big company that it's like you should be doing what the other big company does, but you're new at the same time, you know?
Yeah.
Where it's like, I don't know, because I think are they on a media rights renewal year 2, or is it just WWE?
Supposedly, I mean, I don't know what's going on with them, dude. Like, supposedly WB is very happy, but you would think that by now they would have already worked on a renewal. So, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Everything's weird right now. Like, CW has NXT and it has NWA. Like, super weird.
Yeah, because when at CW, all the new deals start in October, right?
Yeah.
October. Yeah. But I don't know. You know, I'm excited for Revolution. I always get excited for
always. AEW pay-per-view. You already know.
Sting's, I'm assuming, main eventing, right? You would assume he's probably main eventing.
I would imagine that's going to be the main event.
Because I think one thing I'll always give Tony is the world title always ends the show. But I think this is like an exception. Like, you know, and I don't think Joe's going to have a fit if he's not in the main event over fucking Sting.
No. Yeah, it's everyone. I'm pretty sure everybody understands what's happening at that show. Like, it's Sting show.
It's Sting.
You know what I mean?
I can't wait. I definitely think he's going to have a dope entrance.
Oh, yeah.
I just don't know. Maybe he'll come from the rafters.
No, don't do that. I never was comfortable with that shit, man. Every time I saw him doing that shit, I was always terrified, bro, because that shit so scary, bro. When he was in the NWO, I remember one episode he came down from the rafters with the trench coat and like the whole contraption, and he fucking rescued Macho Man because they were beating the shit out of Macho Man. So they're outside the ring. Sting comes down with the jacket, and he's like fending off the NWO with a bat, and at the same time he's undoing the straps, and he's strapping Macho Man in to his thing.
That's a lot of weight.
And then they pulled both of them up there. So I was like, bro, you could not fucking pay me. There's no amount of money you could pay me to do that shit, bro. Ain't no fucking way. Not a chance.
Before we went live, you said you wanted to ask me something. I don't know.
I wanted to ask. I mean, I should have gone earlier since we were talking about Cody, but you know, when I was watching Raw last night and Cody came out and you see these little kids and, you know, it's basically like Hulkamania all over again. I was going to ask, is is Cody right now like? It's kind of a redundant question, but is he like the biggest babyface like in all of wrestling right now? Like, is there a bigger babyface than Cody? Like
No.
anywhere?
No.
Any company?
Nope.
Give me anything. Any company, bro.
Nope.
He's like G.I. Joe. He's literally like, and it's crazy because
he's an American. Like even his character is like patriotic, the red, white, and blue. He's got the blonde hair. Like there's no.
And it's like that's all he ever wanted. And because I know when he was in Ring of Honor, like, you know, he was the American Nightmare Cody. He couldn't use his last name or whatever, and he was a heel. And they were actually doing a lot of funny shit on there back in the day. But when he got into AEW, like it kind of seemed like all he wanted was to be that like babyface type of guy. And to me, the AEW crowd like wants nothing to do with that. They don't want any
it's an older
superhero, G.I. Joe, Hulk. I hate to bring that name up, but those kind of like Superman, Boy Scout, they don't want that shit. There's nobody like that in AEW. Nobody. No. There's no clean as a whistle guy. Even like Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy's like a babyface, but he's not like, you know, he goes out there, he does the lazy thing, and he's like a weirdo. He's not like Captain America type. You know what I mean? Dude, there's nobody like that in AEW. Nobody.
I've been to a few AEW shows now, and there's way less kids there than there are at WWE shows. Like when I just went to Raw, when Cody came out, you would have thought Jesus himself rose and came out. For the kids aspect, like adults, like I popped, you know what I mean? But it's like, all right, cool. But like these kids like lose. Like I was not on the floor, and kids were over there like, Cody, I want your belt. Like, you're not gonna get it up there. But
like they were little kids last night. I was just watching it, and they were doing the whoa, and I just was looking at that shit, and I was like, man, these kids like they actually like they fucking love the G.I. Joe like character. And I thought that like for the longest time I thought that character like wouldn't even work anymore. Like in this day and age,
like you know how much money he's probably making from merch and those belts and like that's the thing. Like he's gonna be champion. Like it's gonna happen. Like you know what I mean? And if he doesn't do it at Mania this year because of Rock, like is he gonna be bummed? He's an athlete. Of course he's gonna be bummed, but I think he'll get over it with his bank account.
Yeah. There's always next Mania. There's always next WrestleMania, man. You can finish the story next year.
Like besides being champion, I don't care what anyone says. He is what every professional wrestler wants to be.
Because you look at like LA Knight. LA Knight super over
with us.
Got the catchphrase, you know, everybody does his chants. His music hits, people go crazy. You know, he goes in the ring, he does the LA Knight, elbow drop shit. They love it. But Cody's like, you hit Cody's music and these kids are like fucking losing their mind. Like it's crazy. Like it's like they're seeing a real life superhero.
Yeah, because like, obviously, like we just said, way more kids watch WWE than AEW. That's just what you know. Just what. But besides Cody, like the next closest is probably like from what Bianca.
Sammy.
Yeah, like
maybe Sammy, maybe, but even Sammy with that unkempt hair and that fucking scraggly beard, he looks like shit.
That's why I say Bianca. I think Bianca's hella over with the kids. You know what I mean? But even then, it's like Bianca and then Cody. Like
and then after that, you really don't have everyone else is like a tweener. Like everyone else is like toting the line of like heel and face. Rhea Ripley, Becky.
In wrestling right now, there's a lot of talent that are heavily over, but with adults. Like Swerve, heavily over with adults. Right now. Roman's over with kids, but mostly adults, I'd argue. You know what I mean? Like anyone, like MJF, he is hella over with adults.
Yeah,
with Joe, with adults. Like you know what I mean? Like with us.
But that's the thing too. That's what I'm saying. Like if you look at AEW, there's nobody like Cody in AEW. There's no like. I'm trying to think of one. Is there any?
Like, who could it be? If you were Tony right now and you're like, shit, I need one of those. Who are you? Even if they're nobody right now, like you have to build them up. Like, not saying they have to be.
If I had to cook up a G.I. Joe over there,
like Wardlow,
I would say maybe Wardlow, or I'm trying to think of somebody. Who am I? I have somebody on the tip of my tongue, man.
I'm trying to think. You got Wardlow,
but look how hard it is. Like,
I just have to really think about
Hangman, maybe, but even Hangman, he's not exactly like a G.I. Joe character. He's drinking beer and having death matches and yeah, you can't. He's a fucking drunken cowboy. He has emotional issues. Like, he can't be a babyface like that.
It would have to be a hard reset, but MJF, because he is clean cut and all that.
You can't even do him now with all the shit he's done.
Yeah, and so it's like it had to be Wardlow. It would have to be Wardlow.
It would have to be a Wardlow. He would have to come out and. But even then, can you imagine Wardlow coming out and smiling and high fiving kids and I can't even see that shit.
No homo.
He's a badass. Like, to me, a lot of wrestlers try to portray like the character of being a badass, but Wardlow he's actually a badass. Like, he's actually one of those.
Because like you can argue, Cena's a big dude, but he's not Wardlow big. Like, you know what I mean?
Cena's pretty huge, but but even somebody like Keith Lee, you can't. He's too weird with the indubitably and all that shit. Like, you have to. He's too weird with that shit. There's nobody on that roster that can do what Cody's doing. Nobody.
The only
Sammy. Maybe Sammy.
Yeah,
like Sammy Guevara, if he's able to get himself over, like, you know, with the clean cut guy thing, but he's already jumped in between so many times that you think Hook, you would have to completely change him, but he would have to get a personality.
Yeah.
But I don't think so. He seems like just Taz. He's like another tweener. Like, it's one of those dudes that's like mysterious. You don't really know.
Hook's the perfect character for what he is.
Yeah. Because this whole not talking thing, like, I'm over that shit, bro. Like, you got to start talking, bro. Like, you have to actually cut a promo and actually, you know, communicate. This whole silent but deadly thing is not working.
Who on the woman's side over there could be like their Bianca, would you say?
Let's see. You could do Thunder Rosa. You could do,
obviously, I hate to be the obvious, but Britt.
Yeah, you could do Britt Baker. You could do Thunder Rosa. You could do Willow Nightingale. You got Statlander kind of already sort of doing it.
But I'm talking like Bianca's like superhero level.
Yeah.
Them too. Like,
I honestly feel like with Thunder Rosa, you could pull it off.
Yeah, I think she could, because you could see the little girls going in there painting their faces.
Statlander could do it too. I'm
trying to think who else they got. No, not honestly. As popular as she is, I really don't think Saraya could. I like Saraya. I just don't think. Do you think Ruby?
She's adopted the heel thing so much that I don't think she's ever going to be anything but.
You think if done right, Ruby Soho? Yeah, I get it. The tattoo thing, like, I get it, but
I don't think so.
Are obviously very accepted.
I don't think so, just because of her size. I hate to say that shit. Because there are much bigger women out there.
I feel like Britt Baker's the number one.
Britt could do it. Sheeta's pretty much kind of like on that level. She could do it. So you got a lot more options.
Hey, we're saying the obvious of Riho.
Yeah, ratings Riho.
Ratings Riho. She proves it.
Yeah, she does. She is the.
And I see people. I get it, because what I even love about AEW is it's different. But like, you have to sometimes be like the opposing at this. Not saying fully embrace what they do, because you don't. You have to be the alternative. But you have to adopt some of that too, though.
Yeah, you don't have to like everything. That's the thing.
Like, they don't have someone that they don't have many people that can do the Today Show. Yeah,
like, and when they do, it's like MJF.
Yeah,
MJF was the one out there doing press and all that shit. And so it was. Somebody was doing press last month for World's End. I forgot who it was. I think it might have been MJF.
Yeah,
I saw him on some morning show. He was there.
And it's like, I get it, because as diehard fans, you want what AEW produces, which I love. You know, I mean, we love it. But it's like, to get to that next level, which you want it to, you can't tell me if you really love AEW, you don't want it to go to the next level. And to go to the next level, you have to do shit like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
you gotta have that good guy. There's no like genuine. There's like no genuine good guy in AEW. They're just like
I think the closest they have right now to doing it is Swerve. Because Swerve's getting that I'm a massive heel, but turning into a natural baby face.
Mind you, he's in a group with a bunch of heels.
Yeah. But like
he's supposed to be a baby face. It's so weird.
Him and Prince on their own, because I'll say this, when I was at Full Gear, as much as he's a heel, and it's known, especially then, that he was a heel, every little kid over there was doing it.
Yeah.
It's like, I think Swerve could be it. You know what I mean? Like Tony had him being the one doing, I think it was at the last Jaguars game of the year. Like, he was the one that was out there in a jersey and all that. Tony's got to take a lot more advantage of that Jaguar shit, man. I don't see why he, I don't know, bro. There's a lot of things that I say he needs to do, but at the end of the day, dude's a millionaire or a billionaire. And I'm not the one doing it. And I probably do it better either.
But you would think that the cross promotion he'd be doing with the football and again,
there's probably a lot more that goes into it than we think, though.
Probably.
You know what I mean? Like, the NFL's going to clear it. It's not as simple as, hey, Dad, I'm going to have Trevor Lawrence, your quarterback, on Dynamite tonight. It's not that easy. So there's obviously a lot that goes into it.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It just sucks because the Jaguars are like a decently good football team. So it's not like they're like my Patriots right now that suck, that are irrelevant right now, where it's like, okay, I get why not.
All I know is that I had a good football weekend. I got to see my two rivals go down in flames after a year of shit talking. So,
yeah, man, both of them collapsed.
My team might suck, but you know what? We're all in the same place right now at home.
They played one extra game.
Yeah. So,
who are you pulling for?
You know what? I don't dislike Buffalo. You know,
I definitely want to see them beat the Chiefs.
I have a homegirl she's the diehard Buffalo Bills fan. I'm happy for her. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind cheering for them. Everybody else that I could cheer for is gone. So
I like the story in Houston with the rookie CJ Stroud. I like that.
He's the shit.
Yeah, I like that. I like the story going on in Detroit. You know, never won anything.
Yeah, man.
You gotta like that. I guess I'm pulling for like the more like heartfelt stories. Like, don't get me wrong, if Baltimore won, that'd be cool. I like Odell Beckham. Lamar Jackson's a baller. If San Fran won, like they have George Kittle and all that, that'd be cool. To be honest, as long as it's not the Chiefs, I really just don't want the Chiefs.
Yeah, it sucks, man. When you're not a fan of a team and they get that dynasty shit going on, you like get sick of them. But then if it's your team, you love it.
I know everyone was sick of our asses.
Yeah. I wish I had a damn team that was a dynasty. I wish maybe one day in my lifetime I'll get that.
The Giants can suck forever, but the Giants are the only consistent team that put the Patriots down.
That's all we got. That's all we have to hang our hat on, dude. We beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl twice, and I know I say that like it's not a big deal. It's like a gigantic deal.
Yeah,
I know when I lived through that, it was tremendous, but like then it's another 11, 12 years of garbage and mediocrity. So I don't know. What can you do? What can you fucking do?
Yeah. And then, one thing I want to talk about before we go is, like we talked about pre-show, I said I was going to bring it up for our boy Dan, Perry Saturn.
Perry Saturn. We were talking on the pre-show about Perry Saturn, kind of making jokes about him, but I was trying to I was saying when I was watching WCW back in the day and Perry Saturn, so here's the thing, I kind of discovered ECW backwards. So I would watch WWE obviously, or WWF, and I started watching WCW when the NWO shit happened. And then after the NWO shit happened, like they started introducing like Raven's Flock, where they had Raven and Saturn and Stevie Ray, freaking whatever his name is, Stevie Richards, and all these people in these groups. And I didn't know that Perry Saturn was in ECW. Well, I learned later he was in the Pitbulls or whatever in that group. So I had never really seen him until he was in WCW. And then when I saw him in WCW, I was like, dude, who the fuck is this? Like, this guy looks like an alien. Like, yeah, I'm like, bro, this guy looks like an alien, dog. Like, why are you even wearing a dress? Because he just had a weird face, dude. But his moveset is where I was like, because for the most part, Raven's Flock was like, it was a joke. Like, you know, you had Kidman. He looked like a goth boy, even though he had ability. You had later Horace Hogan was in that group. And you had like, what was this dude, Van Hammer with the fucking pink nipple ring and all that bullshit. But Perry Saturn, like,
real life badass, by the way. Army.
Yeah, like military. He's got like 192 drops out of fucking airships or whatever it is you crazy people do. But he had this. I had never seen it before. He has a suplex that I don't even remember what it's called now. But he would, you know how you lock up with somebody. He would. It's almost like he puts you in a sleeper, but like face to face, and then he would suplex you like that from a sleeper hold. And so I was like, bro, I'd never seen that shit before in my life.
Yeah.
When I saw that, I was like, okay, this dude is legit. And then he had his finisher that Rings of Saturn.
Yep.
But I always like
I
always hated that shit because he would make the worst faces when he was like tapping somebody out. Because you know, when for some reason in wrestling, when you put someone in a submission hold, you also have to scream for some reason. So he would put them in the Rings of Saturn and he'd make that face. He'd be like, so it's like, dude.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie though. When the Radicals first came over to WWF, he was the one I was the most amped about.
And that outfit that he was wearing with the hat, like the hat with the little fez hat and shit that he had on. I was like, what the fuck is this guy wearing, dude?
And then he ended up with a mop.
Yeah, then he ended up with Moppy.
But I think he was the European champion during Moppy.
Or he would say, "You're welcome."
Yeah.
You're welcome.
That was a big dude, though.
Yeah.
Big ass dude. Yeah. He, the whole Radicals thing, I loved that back in the day.
Yeah, that was dope.
And Malenko, Guerrero, Benoit.
For me, it was dope because I loved those guys so much in WCW. And it was like seeing them all sitting in the front row together with Chris Benoit wearing like that freaking like Hawaiian super Italian like shirt, and he had like bracelet and gold and all this shit on. I was like, really, Chris Benoit?
Yeah, they brought him in pretty good. I'll say that.
Yeah, Chris Benoit, one of the saddest like
stories.
It sucks, man. You know you have to separate the person from the reality, but sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. It sucks because sometimes when you talk about old wrestling and you bring up stuff like that was part of it. Like he was a big part of my fandom back then, and I start talking about that kind of stuff, and I'm like, yeah, but this guy, like you can't.
That run he went on in 2004, winning the Rumble from number 1, and then won the title.
Bro, one of the greatest fucking moments in WWE history. You can't even see it anymore. When he wins the title in that triple threat match with Shawn Michaels and Triple H, and Eddie hits the ring, and they celebrate together. Like I can't even watch that shit without crying, bro. That's like one of the greatest fucking things ever. And Jim Ross's voice is completely fucking gone by the end of that WrestleMania, and he's just screaming, "My God, a champion! Oh my God!" Like that whole thing is like incredible, and you can like
Perry Saturn.
You can't even enjoy it. Yeah, this should have been Perry Saturn.
Hey, yeah, my man had a hell of a wrestling career. Like he was always in the oddest shit, like dressing up all weird, and then had the hat, then was walking around with a mop, but escorted by Terry Reynolds.
So weird, bro. One of the oddest characters in WWE. I just don't think they knew what to do with him. Like
no, because the other three, they obviously Eddie and Benoit, they went on. But even Dean Malenko, like he was big when they had the light heavyweight division. He won that title, and he was doing.
Well, the thing is too, The Rock fucking ended his career. The Rock ended Perry Saturn's fucking whole career, bro. Yeah. He was like, Perry Saturn, The Rock doesn't know much about you. The only thing he knows about you is that you got one eye that goes that way and another eye that goes that way. Once he did that, that was it. It was over for Perry Saturn, bro. It was over for that guy. There was no coming back from that because he had zero promo. Yeah. Like zero. So what was he going to do?
Man, The Rock.
He was too small to beat The Rock's ass.
Man,
so
The Rock.
What was he going to do?
Man, The Rock had some savage shit he used to say back.
Dick. The guy was really a dick back in the day, bro.
I don't care. Remember when he did the promo about the 5 men going into the Hell in a Cell match? Where I drink some Steve Weisers and listen to some Backstreet Boys. And then we're Triple H, and I the game.
The best one is the Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to drink a big glass of milk.
And then
I'll take 3 Viagra.
What about when he was wrestling The Undertaker and The Undertaker popped up and he kicked his ass to go right back down?
My favorite Rock moment ever is the when he was the special referee for Triple H and British Bulldog. And he was like refereeing and he was announcing. Yeah. And then he was like on the headset and then he would run into the ring and come back out. That fucking 1, 2. It doesn't matter if The Rock counts to 3. That's the greatest shit ever, bro. The greatest.
Bro, I saw an insane stat, I think the other day, that AJ Styles' WWE run has a legit full-time run. So now when they went part-time, is longer right now than The Rock and Stone Cold's.
Damn.
The Rock debuted in 96 and left
in 02. AJ debut 2011?
16.
2016.
January. So we're at 8
years?
8 years of AJ Styles. I think it sounds insane, but I think his most time spent now has been in WWE. You just don't think it because you think of all the other shit he did.
Wow. Yeah, because fuck, man. Yeah, because The Rock got humongous and then he was a movie star.
Yeah, because he debuted in 96 and then he left in pretty much 02 when he lost to Brock.
Wow.
He just did a lot in that time frame.
Yeah.
Same with Stone Cold. I think Stone Cold left in, technically it was 02. He had that one last match in 03 against The Rock, but I think he really, I don't remember his exactly, but still 8 years, same thing.
Yeah. Damn, bro. Wow. The thing is too, I think right now also in this day and age, guys are not that they're more durable, but there's more let me say there's probably less dangers out there for wrestlers than there were back then for Stone Cold and The Rock. There was a lot more pills and alcohol and painkillers and all that shit that a lot of guys had to take. Not even wanted to take, had to take because they were just so beaten to the fucking ground. Where now you have there's a lot more regulated and stuff like that. So guys' careers could last a little longer. Because man, at the end, Stone Cold was wearing those 2 fucking giant knee braces, bro. The dude could barely fucking move. It was terrible. He still had ability, but his knees were all fucked up, dude. It's amazing that he did that WrestleMania match, whatever it was, 2 years ago, with no knee braces. I don't think he was wearing any knee braces when he did that match.
Obviously he rests the body and whatever, but it's nuts how him and The Rock I will always be on the mountain that The Rock juices. Maybe not now, but he is a lot bigger than what he used to.
It's funny. I just watched a documentary on YouTube about The Rock. It's called The Problem with The Rock, actually. And it was about that. And it was showing his when he was in WWE and when he left that first time, when he did the rundown, where he was pretty big. And then by the time he did the Tooth Fairy, he looked like a fucking normal dude that just works out. And then when he went to Fast and Furious, all of us, this motherfucker was a gorilla. And it's just how's this 50-year-old man? Come on, dude. Really? You're going to tell me that this 50-year-old man, just because he works hard, he looks like that? No.
And here's what I said, because Stone Cold, you see when he talks, he still got those, Stone Cold's bigger now, I think, than when he was wrestling. But you can tell, that's just a natural Southern dude.
Yeah, but he looks like he's he's in shape. He takes care of it. So he might take like testosterone or something, or, he might take some stuff to like kind of maintain. But he's not like, bro, The Rock is like this.
The difference between the two, yeah. The Rock
ridiculous, bro.
He still has abs. Stone Cold not trying to take a shot because he's bigger than me. I doubt Stone Cold has a six-pack.
Drinking those fucking Budweisers and shit.
Yeah. Have you had those?
I have not. I haven't found them around here yet.
So you can Google where they're at. If you like IPA, so I'm not an IPA guy and I like it, but the American Lager one's really good.
I gotta find them shits one of these days.
I think I'm gonna buy them for WrestleMania this year. I have a couple Steve Weisers during Mania.
Hell yeah.
Well, now that I guess that we're talking about Steve Weisers and Perry Saturn, I think we could take it home. Yeah. I texted Dan about it, and he's like, I can't wait to watch. And then he said we should do a weekly segment where he gives us a topic to talk about. He said next week it should be top 4 Booker T expressions.
Oh, that's an easy one. Shit, that's easy.
Nothing beats favorite Booker T moment. Nothing beats when he's on commentary and Michael Cole's like, and he suffers from anal bleeding.
What?
That or what he's doing now with Trick Williams for me. But,
he's awesome.
But I think that's going to do it for us. I'll send us home. Thank you guys again for listening. But most importantly, start following us. You can follow me if you really want on Twitter and Instagram. But follow the show. On Twitter at wrestlingistrash. We get interactions there. But the YouTube page, Wrestling is Trash. Like, comment, share, subscribe, the whole 9. We push it out there for you. Lou puts in a lot of work to that YouTube page. Give it some love. Give it some love. We love the views, but give us just a little more. We're being greedy. We want a little more. That's all I got. Keep following us everywhere. What you got, Lou? Send us home.
Man, Lou from the BX, host of the Everything Podcast, co-host of Wrestling is Trash. Very happy to be here. Very happy to continue to pump up this content for you guys. We very much enjoy doing this show, so hopefully you guys enjoy watching it. And what can I say, man? We're back for another week. We will be back again next week for you with some more delicious wrestling content. So more Perry Saturn talk. We're going to start the Perry Saturn podcast.
Hell yeah.
What else can I say, man? Thank you guys so much for joining us. And we're going to head out. So with that being said, guys, enjoy wrestling.